Hi, last time I built the basic box, and this time I'm going to fit it out to hold the plane and its accessories. I'll show you how I make the fitting that will hold the beading stop, slitting cutter stop, depth gauge and cam stop, and then I'll describe the rest of the fittings in the box. The beading stop and depth gauge will hang from holes that I make through this small piece of pine. The holes are positioned so that the depth stop can fit in the lower one, the beading stop in the upper one, and they'll both hang almost vertically. Now the cam stop I want to put on a little dowel. It's a little bit too big, so I'll just grind it down a little bit on a file. That's going to be positioned so it hangs towards the bottom of the strip of pine. So that will get glued in there, and then the cam stop can just hang on it. And it's a reasonable friction fit in the middle, a little bit tighter in the middle, so it won't easily fall off. Now the slitting cutter stop, I want to hang from a thin dowel, and I'm making a little square block to glue on the front of that dowel, and that will just stop it falling off. Now I've cut a little groove in the top of this peg, and I'm just putting a tiny wedge in to make it nice and tight. Then the fitting can be glued into the side of the box. I just glue it at the top because it's a cross grain situation. So, taking a look inside the finished box, you can see the plane stands upright and it's partly assembled. It stops things rattling around, and the fence is on upside down, which allows it to all fit within the depth of the box. The long arms are just held between a couple of battens glued to the base, with a couple of stops on the end to stop them moving backwards and forwards. The knob from the fence is just held in a little cutout glued to the bottom of the box. It helps to hold the cam stop on its dowel. Cam stop sits on this dowel, slightly tight in the middle, stops it coming off too easily. Then the slitting cutter stop can be lifted over off its dowel. The beading stop can be taken out of its hole, and the depth gauge can be slid out of its hole. Those holes are sloped downwards, so gravity holds those in nicely during transport. I haven't attached the cutter box in there in any way yet, because I'm thinking that maybe I want to make a bigger one to take more cutters at some point. So that just sits loosely in the corner. It could be attached simply by putting a batten along here and a stop at that end. There's still plenty of room in this area for additional accessories. You can clearly see here how gravity will hold these in during transport. If you look in the centre of the picture, underneath my arm, you'll see that there's a strip of pine with a small hole in it. That small hole takes the area of the fence that the knob is normally screwed into, and that stops the plane from moving backwards and forwards in the box. So, job done. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm planning to do a SketchUp model which will be available on my website for anyone to download should they wish to copy this box. Thanks for watching.